Hello my dear kids and welcome back to Simple Learning. There has been a little gap in the videos, but believe me, there was some reason due to which I could not upload earlier. But nevertheless, before your exams, you will get all your videos in place. And hopefully, if we cross 1000 subscribers, we will be able to do some lives. We will be able to solve our doubts. We will be able to solve many practice papers which I have with me. But then, please help me to like the video, share it with your friends so that we have a good number of subscribers so we can have those lives and I can solve all your problems regarding your history syllabus. So without further ado, let's get started. The much awaited video for the Second World War is here. So you want to know the page by page syllabus and I'll mark it. As always, we start with the syllabus box. So you will see here that in the Second World War, you have to do dissatisfaction with the Treaty of Versailles. That is, the causes that you have to do. Rise of Fascism and Nazism. Policy of appeasement is not in syllabus, children. So don't even bother learning that paragraph. But there is a bit of it in another paragraph, which I will let you know. Just keep watching the video. Then Japanese invasion of China is in syllabus. Failure of League of Nations. And Hitler's invasion of Poland, of course, the very important question of this chapter. Then you do not have to do brief mention of attack on Pearl Harbor and bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And also you do not have to do the consequences. So half of the chapter is cancelled. So do not bother to worry about it. So you can cancel it. Brief mention of the attack on Pearl Harbor, bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, consequences, they are all cancelled. So let's get started with our page by page discussion. So children, as I always tell you, you will always in every chapter you must read the first paragraph. Sometimes there are important pointers in that paragraph and most of the time it helps you to understand the chapter better. So never leave the first paragraph. Don't always think what is in syllabus, what is coming for exam, what is not coming, because your own understanding is also very important and this sets the background for the entire chapter. So always read the entire first or introductory paragraph or paragraphs, and then we start with the causes of the Second World War. So first one, you have to do dissatisfaction with the Treaty of Versailles. This is mainly regarding Germany, because Germany, because of the Treaty of Versailles, was not happy. And this, there are some keywords here which you will use. This sowed the seeds of bitterness and conflict. This line is important. Whenever you write the causes, always use some keywords. Like this sowed the seeds of bitterness and conflict. You already know that the treaty demanded annexation of German territories. The treaty was very harsh on Germany. So all those clauses you can add why Germany was very unhappy with the Treaty of Versailles. Carrying on the same paragraph, you will write about German colonies, because you may be asked to explain the dissatisfaction with the Treaty of Versailles, why Germany was not happy. So German colonies were forcibly taken from her. She was divided into two parts for the benefits of Poland, and she was burdened with huge war indemnity. These kind of keywords you must use. Her military power was reduced. This also you can use as a point. And then use this led to the spirit of revenge. And Germany started looking for an opportunity to do away with the harsh treaty. Then the next cause is the rise of Fascism and Nazism. Now here you will talk about both the dictators and all. So here it says the rise of extreme nationalism. So you will refer to both countries for Nazism and Fascism, that is Italy and Germany. It also was one of the causes which led to the Second World War. Now, one by one, you will say why Italy and fascism in Italy led to the Second World War. And then again, next paragraph says how in Germany, Hitler being the dictator and his policy of Nazism led to the Second World War. So here there is an important line here. Italy wanted to revive the glory of the old Roman Empire, and she joined the Anti-Comintern Pact in 1937. This is important for MCQs. You may be asked, when did Italy sign the Anti-Comintern Pact and with whom did it sign? It formed a 10 years alliance with Germany and, in 1939 to strengthen her position. Right? So the kind of pacts that they signed or the year in which they signed, that also can be a part of the MCQ. But overall reasons also you can elaborate here. In Germany, Hitler wanted to re-establish the prestige of Germany in international field. He flouted the military clauses in the Treaty of Versailles and declared rearmament. In 1938, he annexed Austria. So this you will remember for your short answers or MCQs. And he dismembered Czechoslovakia. So therefore, Mussolini and Hitler drove the countries of the world towards another war. Policy of appeasement, not in syllabus. So you can cancel it off. I know students find it very, funny, but at the same time very, welcoming when they come to know which paragraphs they have to cancel in the chapters. So yes, this is not in syllabus. You can cancel it. Then comes the Japanese invasion of China. Again, this is an important reason because Japan joined the Berlin-Rome-Tokyo Axis later on, which formed the Axis powers in the Second World War against the Allies. So, which territories did Japan occupy? So, Japan was determined to dominate the Far East, and you will remember the date. In 1931, Japan intervened in Manchuria and in spite of League's opposition occupied and set up a government there. Japan also started an undeclared war against China in 1931. China appealed to League of Nations, so you can read it like a story and remember. But Britain and France, who were the leading members of the League, did not pay attention to the appeal. So Japan joined the Berlin-Rome Axis to form the Berlin-Rome-Tokyo Axis to further its policy of expansion and conquest. This date is again important. In 1933, Japan left the League of Nations and started occupying British and American properties also in China. Now, British American properties, but still Britain followed the policy of appeasement because they thought there was a reason that Japanese could be used to weaken China. This is the reason, again important for MCQs. Why did Britain and France follow policy of appeasement even though Japan was occupying even British territories? This is because they thought Japan could be used to weaken China, so a war was inevitable under these circumstances. Next major cause is children, failure of the League of Nations. Very, very important cause because if an international organization fails to maintain peace, fails to keep the countries under check, then definitely a war is inevitable. So the failure of League of Nations, there are many examples here about the failure of League of Nations, due to which the Second World War became inevitable, or you may say that became the cause of the Second World War. Now you will say how the League failed. There are many pointers here. First of all, the League of Nations succeeded in allaying the threat of war in cases where parties were small nations. They could control the small nations. But the League did nothing when Poland, with the backing of France, seized a part of Lithuania in 1920. So these are examples you must know where the League failed. Next is, in 1923, there was a threat of war between Italy and Greece. Italy refused to submit to League's intervention and the dispute was settled by direct mediation of Britain and France. So here also League failed because for any dispute, Britain and France used to take the upper seat and the League of Nations as an organization failed to solve the disputes. So you can use words like the League was either defied or ignored. The authority of League was also flouted by Japan when it seized a part of Manchuria and also by Italy when it conquered Ethiopia. So many countries are occupying in other parts of other countries, but the League was not able to do anything about it. So these all can be different pointers. You have a maximum 3 marks question in the exam. I would suggest you can learn, 4 reasons how the League of Nations failed. But at the same time, read everything because any one pointer can be taken for an MCQ and they can be asked which country did Italy occupy where the League of Nations failed to control it. So you have to write Italy conquered Ethiopia, or Japan conquered Manchuria, or Poland with the backing of France seized a part of Lithuania in 1920. So 1920, 1923 dates are also important. Then you have to add that the coercive machinery of the League was very weak. The economic sanctions were of no use against a determined aggressor. And then members were not willing to apply economic sanctions most of the time because it affected their economy as well. But the League failed to maintain international peace in the countries of Europe, and the countries lost faith in its usefulness. Therefore, they themselves entered into, again, mutual political and military alliances. Last but not the least, and extremely important point for your exam, word by word, I would suggest you should read this, understand this, mug it up, because this question is definitely a very important question for your exam. So Hitler's invasion of Poland was the immediate cause, like Archduke Francis Ferdinand's murder was the cause of the First World War, immediate cause. The immediate cause of the Second World War was Hitler's invasion of Poland. Now, Hitler invaded Poland in September 1939 for the following reasons. Reasons are extremely important because there are main three reasons given, and three reasons can be asked in a 3 marks question. So, first reason was, by the Treaty of Versailles, Germany was divided into two parts in order to give land route to Poland up to the sea. And the port of Danzig, now this Danzig is very important because you have to mention this. Port of Danzig was given to Poland. Now Germany wanted to regain her lost territories. Extremely important line, can be asked in an MCQ also, that why did Hitler invade Poland? One of the reasons was that Germany wanted to regain her lost territories. Second is, city of Danzig itself was inhabited mainly by Germans, and by occupying Danzig corridor, Germany could connect with East Prussia. That is why, that was another reason why he wanted Poland, because why he wanted Danzig, because it was a port city, Germans were living there, and it would give him a connection to East Prussia as well. Germany, third reason, Germany had signed a non-aggression pact with Russia in August 1939. Please mark this again for MCQ. Who signed the non-aggression pact? Germany signed non-aggression pact with Russia in August 1939, and when they came together, they accused Poland of committing atrocities against the Germans living in Poland. So that, Hitler would give it as an excuse that he wants to take away a part of Poland, especially Danzig, because Polish government is not behaving well with the people in that area. So because of these three reasons, on September 1, 1939, German armies marched into Poland. France and Britain gave an ultimatum to Germany. In reply, Germany attacked France also. Then, 2 days later, on September 3, Britain and France declared war on Germany. Thus, the invasion of Poland marked the beginning of the Second World War. The German armies completed the conquest of Poland in less than 3 weeks so as to ensure that no aid reached Poland. But in spite of declaration of war, there was little actual fighting. So the war was dormant from September 1939 to April 1940. But the war was declared, so we will say that the Second World War started in September 1939. So what is more important is, children, to understand the reasons why Hitler invaded Poland, 3 reasons, and how it ultimately led Germany and France also to get into the war and make it into a world war. Now the next page-wise discussion I will do, that is the events of the war. As in the First World War, at this level in grade 10 ICSE, you are anyway not doing the events of the First World War or the Second World War, so you can easily cancel all of this. All these paragraphs, conquest of Norway, fall of France, just cancel it, Battle of Britain, all these are the events which you must cancel. Battle of Stalingrad, cancel. Battle for Berlin, cancel. Attack on Pearl Harbor, cancel. bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, cancel. So you do not have to do any of these. So basically, that is the only part of the chapter you have to do, the causes of the Second World War. Even the consequences are not in syllabus. So happily you can cancel this part, because this actually involved a lot of details, but luckily you are not going to do it. So formation of UN is cancelled, and Cold War is also cancelled. And as I suggest to you, always go with the chapter at a glance. Events of the war, again, you do not have to do, but try to remember this chapter. At the end, after making notes, after making a mind map, go through the chapter at a glance. It helps you to remember well. And also try to answer all these questions related to the syllabus, so that you are, aware of the smaller parts of the chapter. If something is asked in a different manner, you are able to answer. This helps you to revise very well, children. This Morning Star book has loads of short answer questions also. Very good for you to practice. So just a recap, you are doing the causes of the Second World War, but you are not doing the policy of appeasement, and later on the attack on Pearl Harbor, and till the end the consequences of the war, events of the war, you are not doing. So that is all page by page discussion of your Second World War. I hope everything is clear now. And as I told you, if you like the video, please like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel before leaving, because we will have more of examination practice papers also coming up here, practice questions and motivational videos as well. So don't lower your guard, practice well. You have enough time. If we cross 1000 subscribers, definitely we will have live, and we will also discuss how to answer in exam, and as an examiner I will tell you what points to keep in mind while answering the questions. So on this note, I will sign off for now, children, and I hope to see you very soon in my next video. Thank you and bye-bye.